Hey, this is Rich O'Neill with Elite Functional Performance here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And for our friends at Charlotte Country Day School, today we're going to be taking you through a total body workout using the ankle cuffs and your elastic band with handles. This is going to be exercise video number 5 in your series. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to get you up on your feet. We've got our elastic band. I'm going to loop my hands through the handles. Then I'll grab my band with an overhand grip, put a little bit of tension on that band, keep my arms straight, and then just take my arms all the way back over my head and back down to the front of my body. I'm taking my arms back on an inhale and then exhale coming back over. We're using this movement to begin moving the ball from the front of the socket in the shoulder to the back of the socket and really working some mobility deep into the shoulder capsule. We'll be moving through these for 1 to 2 minutes of continuous movement. Okay, now we're going to take you down to the floor. And here we're going to work on activating the glutes, the hamstrings, the muscles on the back side of the leg. We're going to perform a glute bridge. We're going to make sure our hands are up and our shoulders are in the back of the socket, making contact with the ground. I'm going to drive my hips to the ceiling by pushing through my heels. It's important to not overarch your back on this. Come down with slow control, trying to make your lower back touch before your butt. We can exhale on the way up. Inhale with slow control down. When you get to the top, you want to make sure that you have a good squeeze in the butt muscles. So you can hold that at the top for a 1 count to make sure that you can feel both sides turn on. We shouldn't have very much stress in the upper spine here. Shoulder blades should be secure against the floor, but without any tension in the neck. We're going to perform 8 of these. And then come up from there nice and easy. So here I've got my exercise band. I removed the handles and I'm holding the band in an underhand grip. I'm going to wrap my hands around it and then bring my arms over my head with 90-degree angle of my upper arm to my upper body. With a soft bend in the knee at hip width distance, I'm going to begin folding to the side as we perform an exercise called an overhead side bend. I'm going to return to starting position and then move to the opposite side. We're going to do 5 of these each way. The objective here is as I tilt to my right, I want to feel the left side of my body through the rib cage and the armpit, all the way down to the front side of that hip, getting a little bit lengthened, stretched. I can maximize that stretch by inhaling as I tilt to the side. So big inhale as I go to the side, hold it for a 1 count, bring it back to starting position. We don't want to get too much movement side to side here without stopping in the middle. You want to try to keep the chin out of the chest and maintain an upright spine throughout the entire exercise. All right, so for our next warm-up exercise, we're going to start with our elastic band. Toes point forward at hip width distance. I'll descend into the squat, and when I stand up from there, I'm just going to pull apart. Call this a squat to pull apart, and you're going to go back and forth 10 times, alternating directions. All right, so for our first exercise at our high band attachment point. All right, so here we are with our first exercise. We're going to use the high attachment point. So if you need any help or reminder on how to set the door anchor, please refer to the first video where we go through at each level and explain how to set that up. Our first exercise, we're going to begin by facing out here. We're going to have one hand on each handle, and I'm gonna step out with one foot. Doesn't matter which foot I step out with, just whichever foot you select, make sure you feel stable with that foot being in front. I'm gonna begin by lifting my spine tall and pulling my shoulder blades back to my spine. On an exhale, I'm gonna punch my hands forward, making them come together in front of my body, and return to starting position on an inhale. We call this a high to low push, and we're gonna perform 10 reps. The objective is to keep the spine in an upright position and avoid leaning forward as we push forward. So it's important to remember to bring the shoulder blades near to the spine at the beginning of each rep before we start the next push. So as the arms are coming back on that inhale, imagine you're trying to squeeze a pencil between your shoulder blades before you start that next push forward. Maintain a stable spinal position with core. Inhale back, exhale forward. So for our next exercise with our high attachment, we're going to grab one handle with each hand and come into an underhand grip. We'll set the feet up to squat with toes pointing forward, and create a bent over position by lowering the torso to the floor and maintaining a flat spine. On an inhale, I'm going to pull my arms back in a sweeping motion, bringing the shoulder blades to the spine. Exhale, return to starting position. We call this a reverse grip sweep, and you're going to do 10 reps. We want to think about trying to keep the core tight to maintain a neutral lower spine instead of arching the lower back. Work with slow control and focus on your breathing. So for our next exercise at our high attachment, we're going to come into an overhand grip and step back to squat with, creating that same bent over position that we had on the reverse grip sweep. Once I'm locked into position here, I'm gonna pull my elbows down behind me, bringing the shoulder blades to meet at the spine and return to starting position. We call this a bent over pull down, and you're gonna do 10 reps. The key is to maintain a neutral torso and squeeze the shoulder blades together as the elbows come down the spine. Keep your chin out of your chest and pull down on an exhale, returning to starting position on an inhale. So we've changed our band here to our mid-level attachment, remembering that mid-level is somewhere between waist height and rib cage, about the height that you'd find at a countertop or a doorknob. So the first exercise that we're going to perform from our mid-attachment site is going to be a split stance one-arm pull. I'm going to hold both handles in one hand. Now if my right arm is holding, my right leg will go back. I'm going to put my other hand on my hip, make my spine tall, and then pull both handles toward my rib cage, maintaining a tight stomach and a tall spine. I want you to breathe in as you pull and exhale as you return to starting position. You're going to do 10 of these on each arm. There's a little bit of a twist on the pull, but not enough to make you come off of your stability with your core. We'll anchor the heel on the rear foot rather than bend the knee and let that heel come off the floor. After 10, we'll switch sides. I'll switch both handles to my left hand. My left leg will come back, anchor the heel, toe pointing straight, tall spine, pull. Next exercise that we're going to perform in our mid-level attachment, we're going to grab both handles with our inside hand and then wrap the outside hand over. I'm going to set my feet up at squat width distance with my stomach tight, my spine straight, and a soft bend in my knee. I'll extend my arms out in front and lock my shoulder blades back into place. Once I've got that position secure, I'm going to perform stir the pot. So stir the pot, I'm working in a clockwise direction for 10 reps. Maintaining static stability in the torso so that the only part of my body moving are my arms. We're going to perform 10 reps, and then we'll switch to the other side with the inside hand holding both handles, outside hand wraps over, arms fully extend, and stir the pot now, counterclockwise. For our next movement at our mid-level attachment, we're going to grab one handle with each hand into a neutral grip. I'll get my feet set up for squat width, and I'll drop down into a half squat here, bringing the weight into the heels and pushing my butt out behind. When I stand up, I'm going to pull one arm and look over my shoulder. We call this exercise a bow and arrow. I'm going to return to starting position, start from that half squat, and pull opposite side. Squat down, stand up to pull. You want to think like you're reaching back to shoot a bow and arrow. Squat, switch. We're going to go back and forth 10 times each way. I want you to look over your shoulder when you pull on this exercise. And try to bring your shoulder blade to your spine on the pulling arm. So here we moved our elastic band attachment to the low setting. Low setting is going to be anywhere from about top of the sock line to below knee height. We've got our elastic band looped through the anchor, and we're going to use our ankle cuffs. So the ankle cuffs, we just loop around through the loop and secure them with the Velcro. Standard through the loop, pull to a comfortable level, and then secure the Velcro. We're going to begin by clipping both clips into one ankle. So we've got both clips on one side. I'll shift to the rear. So once I'm hooked up and locked into place, we're going to perform an exercise called the step knee raise. So if my left foot is clipped in, I'm going to step out with my right foot, and then using my core, I'm going to bring my left knee up, raise that knee to 90 degrees, and then put it back and step back with the right leg. I'll step out and exhale as I bring the knee up, place it back, return to the opposite. Step, knee, back, return. It's important to keep the core tight here so we can maintain that stability when the leg's off the ground. Tall upright spine helps with the core. I like both hands on the hips here to keep my shoulders back. We don't want the hands to come out too far and start airplaning us off of our stability. So I can keep my hands on my hips and stay very compact. You're going to perform 10 of these, and then we're going to switch the band to the other side and work 10 over there. And then we'll finish with 10 on the other side. So I'll step with my left foot, raise the right knee, step back with control, and repeat 10 times. So for our next exercise from the low attachment, we're going to take one elastic and secure it to each ankle cuff. So I have one on the left, one on the right. Once I've got them secure, I'm going to come down onto my stomach and cross the arms in front of my body. From here, I want to squash my lower back and stomach into the floor, and then we're going to perform what we call prone butt kicks, 10 each side. So I'm going to kick my heel to my butt as far as I can, and as that side is coming down, the other side will go up. We want to have smooth control with this exercise. You're going to do 10 on each side. So we'll be sure to maintain a continuous rhythm with this movement rather than one at a time, up and down. So we'll get one side moving up as the other side moves down for 10 each side with smooth control. So for our next movement at our low attachment site, we're facing the opposite direction now with your feet closest to the anchor. We've got one elastic attached to each ankle cuff. And once they're secure, we're gonna come back into our flat position on your spine. Hands will come out to the side, palms are up. Once my lower back is glued to the floor and I feel my core is on, I'm going to bring both knees up on an exhale. We call this a knee raise. You're gonna do 10. Inhale as the knees come up to 90 degrees. Exhale back to the floor with control. The objective is to try and maintain contact with the lower back to the floor throughout the entire movement. If this version seemed too advanced for our intermediates and beginners, we can go into an alternating one knee lift at a time. 10 reps each side with slow control. Bring each knee up to 90 degrees. Lower each heel to the floor while keeping your lower back on the ground the entire time. All right, so thanks for joining us today and participating in our in-home workout. Stay tuned for the next video in your exercise series that'll be coming your way.